Chelsea fans? This is Up Chelsea TV, and this is Ugo Amadi. So let's go straight into it. So in a couple of hours' time, Chelsea will be playing in the Club World Cup semi-final against Fluminense. And one of the major questions, in addition to every other question around tactics, starting lineups, and all that, is who would you opt for? Who would Enzo Maresca opt for to start up front as the striker, as the number 9 leading the line? Liam Delap suspended for decent, been booked twice, 2 yellow cards, and so he misses this one. Nicolas Jackson comes back for this one after serving his suspension for a red card in the game versus Flamengo. And as well, new signing, new boy Joao Pedro is also fit and available, and he had a very promising and exciting debut for Chelsea when he came on, for Liam Delap. So the question is, who starts up front? Who would you go for, Nicolas Jackson or Joao Pedro? Now, I'll give you my own opinion. I will go for Joao Pedro. Now, hear me out. Joao Pedro, I know some of you still have PTSD from, Mikhailo Modric. You remember Modric, that his cameo against Liverpool? He looked like, Eden Hazard regen. He looked like someone that was right off the loins of Zola. But after that game, he just seemed unable to find his feet. Although he had some brief moments where he showed some promise, but never really hit the heights that we sort of anticipated off the back of that cameo against Liverpool. So some of you are thinking, Joao Pedro, has he had one of those moments where he's come on the second half and it looked great and then suddenly would fizzle out? But I have this to say, he will be coming up against his former side in the Brazilian side Fluminense. So I think he'll have something not really to prove, but he would really want to play against that team and show them how far he's developed, how far he's come. And then as well, the way he plays, the dynamism he showed in the game versus Palmeiras, as well as the dynamism he's also shown while he's played for Brighton in the Premier League, I think he should start. I think Nicolas Jackson is still a bit hot around the ears because he just came on against Flamengo, and for whatever crazy reason, he got himself sent off. I just don't want Nicolas Jackson starting that game. I want Joao Pedro to start. And admittedly, on this channel, on the Up Chelsea TV, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to the channel. If you're new, I know I've said this. I said there's a bit of confusion as to where Joao Pedro will start, because he can play behind the striker in the false 9 position. Sometimes he can play out wide, even if that's not the best position for him. But then Enzo Maresca has come out to say he sees him as a 9, though he can drop deep and link up. And as well, more importantly, because for me, I feel where a player thinks is his best position, that's where he should be playing anyways. So Joao Pedro has also come out in an interview to say his best position is a 9, but he wants to be free to link up play. So I think that will be music to Enzo Maresca's ears, and definitely a beautiful song to the ears of the likes of your Cole Palmers, because you have someone that can link up, dovetail off of, and that can hopefully get you those goals. So for me, yes, I want Joao Pedro to start as the number 9 in that game. For me, I even have an idea about Nicolas Jackson. It's not a crazy idea. It's not as crazy as people think. For me, Nicolas Jackson should be a left winger. Nicolas Jackson and Gittins should be the 2 Chelsea left wingers. Pedro Neto and Chukwunonso Madueke should be, the 2 the 2 right wingers. I think that's happy days for me. But let's see if indeed that turns out to be the case. So my starting lineup will be this way. I was hoping that Mike Penders could get some game time, but since he hasn't had any game time up to this point in the semi-finals, I think Enzo Maresca will go with his boy again. He will go with Robert Sanchez in goal. So let him be there. And then Cucurella left back. No one argues that. He's made that his own. It's funny, a couple of seasons ago, everyone apart from me, I would say, wanted Cucurella out. even in games where he had the good games, a lot of fans were like, Cucurella, have him out of the team, have him out of the team. But you see what he's become. You see what he is right now. The same thing is going on about Noni Madueke, but that will be in a different video. So Cucurella, left back for me. Cole Will is suspended, so I'll go with Tosin Adebayo who should pair with Chalobah, in my opinion, except Enzo Maresca decides to be brave and goes with an Anselmino, because I think he's aggressive enough playing against the South American side. He'll be up for that fight. And Argentine going up against the Brazilian side, he'll be up for that battle. Except Enzo Maresca wants to be that brave. But for me, I'll just keep it simple right now and go with the Tosin and the Chalobah. But I wouldn't complain if Anselmino and Tosin starts. But what I don't really want to see is to see Anselmino start with Chalobah, or any sort of starting central defense starting pairing where Tosin sits on the bench. That's something I don't want to see. And then at that right back position, yes, right back, I want to see Reece James right there. I don't want any talk about, from day one I saw him as his midfielder. That's just not true. That doesn't make any sense to me. And then in the heart of the midfield, Caicedo is back and ready to go. So I envisage he will be paired with Enzo Fernandez in the heart of that midfield. And then, of course, 10 position picks itself. I hope Enzo Maresca doesn't do anything crazy, because just like his sort of mentor, Pep Guardiola, they seem to come up with some crazy things that, there's no point to doing. Remember the Champions League final where Pep Guardiola decided to play without a 6, decided to keep Rodri on the bench? So hopefully he doesn't do anything crazy and play Palmer in some weird position. So Palmer in the 10 for me, behind the Joao Pedro, and on either side I would go with Pedro Neto and Noni Madueke. Have them dovetail, because since Jose Mourinho, that everyone sort of right now loves to criticize, loves to call a dinosaur, want to say he's ultra defensive, anti-football, but ever since Jose Mourinho did this thing where he had Damien Duff and Iron Robin, switching flanks, two players who were put left-footed, two wingers who were put left-footed, but they switched flanks every now and again to confuse the fullbacks. I hope we could see that with Madueke and Pedro Neto. So let's see how that shakes out. And then Joao Pedro for me to start in the 9 position, just like I said earlier on. And then for a score prediction, people are taking Fluminense for granted, and people are coming up with some crazy scoreline, 3-0, 4-1. No, it's not going to be that way. It's just not going to happen. No, for me, I want it to be like 60-0 in favor of Chelsea with 5 minutes into the game, but definitely that's not going to happen. So for me, 2-0, 2-0, semi-comfortable victory, Chelsea onto the final. But this is a game that Chelsea, does have all the opportunities to win, and definitely Fluminense is playing with what we will call house money, because no one really expects them to do anything. If they lose today by 5 goals to Naples, they lost to an European powerhouse. If they win 1-0 today, giant killers, so they have nothing to lose at all. So, but Chelsea should go on, be aggressive, start positively, dominate the game, and pen them in their own half. But you have to be careful in possession, because one thing we've seen with Fluminense is once you lose possession in certain areas, they hit you on the break, they get a goal, they sit back, and then you're now in their world where they hit you on the counter attack for fun. So at the preliminary score predictions in the comment section. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hopefully after the game there'll be a reaction. I'll have a reaction to that, to the scoreline. Hopefully Chelsea would have won that game. And so at this point, I've come to the end of this video, and I'll see you on yet another video. Stay well, stay blessed. Bye bye.